Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time for Best Actor and Best Actress predictions. Best Actor, still got Brendan Fraser for The Whale out front. Looks pretty good to me.
Read the YouTube comments in the new trailer. Just read them.
Oh, what are they?
They've just handed him an Oscar already.
People say that shit about like every movie. Like on the Women King trailer, people are like, "Give Viola Davis her."
It's different, man. It's different.
It is different because people know that the narrative.
They know what happened to him, and they're like, shower this man in awards immediately.
Yeah,
He's fucking incredible.
It's happening. You know what? Last time I wasn't ready to say it so confidently because I was like, oh, but like, what if Austin Butler?
No, Cole, it's so much of a lock that like you're just scared.
You're right.
I know that you're scared. I know that you're scared, and we all have fear in our hearts, but this is just gonna happen.
Colin Farrell for the Banshees of Inisherin. Why is he above Austin? Is he above Austin Butler?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like a Best Picture lock movie.
And because the person who's going to sweep the most Critics Awards is...
Oh, yeah, they're him.
And it's not going to be Brendan Fraser. You agree with me. Brendan Fraser is not going to win as many Critics Awards as Colin Farrell, I swear to God.
Probably. I think so, but not by like a lot, just by a little bit.
Think about how Anthony Hopkins didn't win all the awards for The Father.
That's because The Father did a shit job with critics.
Yeah, but they were like, we like Riz Ahmed. That's a subtle performance that you like. You can watch every scene again, and he's just like amazing, and you're like, wow, look at what he's doing.
Those three are pretty much locks.
Yeah, Austin Butler's in.
Bill Nighy for Living.
Yeah.
Jesus,
I'm
man.
convinced, buddy.
Jesus.
I'm convinced. I mean, look, I didn't make the rules.
I understand.
Sony Pictures Classics.
Okay, Sony Pictures Classics. You go to the Globes, you get a nomination. You go to the BAFTAs, you get a nomination, and then you're all but a shoe-in for the Oscar at that point.
Don't you think that if he gets Globe and BAFTA, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's like absolutely.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
I convinced
even
myself.
Penelope Cruz last year couldn't get a single fucking nomination, and Sony Pictures Classics still smidged her in there.
I was looking at this and I was like, I'm going to convince you to remove Diego Calva, but I forget who I was going to convince you to remove him for. Because I'm okay with not having Hugh Jackman in for The Son.
Yeah, but I think that could happen.
It could happen. It could happen. And he deserves it.
The movie is very tainted, though. Like,
oh, yeah.
Enough people hate it. Like, if people were just like, yeah, The Son's okay. Like, Roman Israel Esquire. Like, did people hate that movie? Or they're just like, yeah, it's all right. Like... This is different. People have visceral reactions to this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I hope people can separate it and say, like, he's really good in it.
Diego Calva, though, like, I get why it seems like, oh, at the end of the day, like, eh.
I think they could just leave him out. And I also think maybe they're not giving him enough time at the end of the year to, like, push him into the conversation, because that might take like, a little more time to, like, ramp that up. You know, for Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt, it's kind of autopilot.
Diego Calva, though, I heard he really owns, like, the third act in the movie. Like, when we watch it, we're not going to be convinced that he's getting nominated. But then by the end, it'll be like, oh, there was maybe something there. There was maybe something there. I mean, in this race, that's like...
I just wonder if it's a case where even though he's great, he just doesn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be less showy. He's only like 28 years old. Just interjecting from the future here, now we have the Babylon reactions, some Babylon reactions, and they say Diego Calva's very good. I don't think this changes my opinion on whether or not he's getting in. Maybe it makes me a little less confident because the mixed reactions might mean the movie's not a top 5 contender. Still hard to tell. It almost makes me wonder if Tom Cruise... Actually, I think we might go there. I think we actually might go there. And then you have Tom Cruise, who honestly... I've been pretty close to thinking that he could be in the top 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is like, does he have a better shot than Diego Calva?
He could get Golden Globe. People say he's not going to get Golden Globe because he gave his Golden Globes back. You think the Golden Globes are going to plant their feet in the sand on the issue of Tom Cruise was ungrateful for the Golden Globes that we gave him because he was protesting we have to be against that because we're so sorry for everything that we did. They're trying to be remorseful. They're not mad at Tom Cruise for taking a stand against them. They're like, we're so sorry. And also they have like a huge different voting body. He could get Critics' Choice. He could get SAG. He could get Globe. He could miss the Oscar after all those. I could see that happening too.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get BAFTA.
There is actually a very strong narrative for like merit alone. What he does for the movie, what he gives the movie.
His brand is like a stunt
I kind of think
like last remaining movie star.
It's kind of hard to argue that he doesn't deserve it in some ways. I think people who are saying like, he doesn't like need to get nominated, it's because it's like an action star. It doesn't matter what movie they're in. They still feel like they're playing the same character a little bit. But it also feels like he owns it so much that you can't ignore the fact that this performance is part of what makes this movie great.
I did think when I watched it, like, he doesn't need an Oscar nomination, but that one scene with Val Kilmer, though.
He has some scenes where he cries.
That scene, I was like, that's as good as any Oscar clip they'll show.
Okay,
like,
yeah,
he's actually really
I
good
agree
in
with that,
scene.
but also there's a scene with Jennifer Connelly where he's like lying in bed with her and he's like crying over something. So there's like a couple Oscar clips. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there are a couple Oscar. That's the other thing.
That's the thing.
That's the other thing.
That's the thing.
Again, I think that the Oscars could be like a little like whoa there on that.
Would they be though? If he drummed up hype from the precursors, would they be the ones to go whoa there?
Think about like how Quivenchine Wallace and Yalitza can get into lead acting categories. Like that's what I think about Diego Calva. Like they can actually be surprisingly friendly to newcomers if it's like the right role.
Yeah, I'm kind of like flip-flopping them in my head.
Yeah, I think they're close. I think it's close to having Tom Cruise. Dangerously close, dare I say. Paul Mescal, I think if After Sun ended up being a picture contender, he would get in. I think he will get BAFTA. I think he will probably miss Critics' Choice, actually.
He doesn't do, like, that much in the movie.
But it's like this portrayal of, like...
It's a subtle thing.
A bottled up depression that is really impressing.
It's the kind of performance that people could appreciate if they decide they fucking love the movie, then they like grow an appreciation for it. And so I agree, like there's maybe a world, but
and critics will help him out. Like he's going to be probably one of the top 5 most awarded actors for critics groups. People like Paul Mescal. He's very well respected. But I think it's number 8.
You know, then you have Will Smith in Emancipation. If Will Smith had not smacked the Chris Rock, would you be putting him higher? Where would he be on your list?
I would say that he would definitely have a better shot. The question again though is like, is Emancipation more of like an action thriller? The word is that Will Smith's performance is meaty, and there's definitely a question is like, if he didn't slap, he could have gotten this nom. Some people think that makes him like completely impossible, irrelevant, like he shouldn't even be on the list because of course they won't nominate him. If Emancipation was a big or a contender than we think, and he genuinely gave a performance that would have been nominated, like, I think there's still a chance.
Yeah, like, what if he gave a performance where people say, that needs an Oscar, even though he just won one that wouldn't happen? What if that happened, okay? What would you do? What would you do with that? An Anthony Hopkins in The Father performance. What then? It's like, you know, some people, they get drunk at your house, maybe they break a lamp. But maybe you still have them over. Like you give them like a little bit of time, and then Thanksgiving they can come back.
Park Ha-il Decision to Leave. I think critics could maybe help him out, but I don't know if he's going to be like one of their top picks. I saw Decision to Leave again. Like I think he's really great. Like he should be nominated for Best Actor. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't really think it's going to.
Now, I have my eye on Jeremy Pope in The Inspection. I've not seen The Inspection, but people who see it are kind of raving about his performance, and it is very meaty. Like, let's say this was a better known actor. I think he would be in the conversation, very much so. Like getting nominated.
This does not strike me as a movie that gets a lone Best Actor nomination. I'm sorry.
I guess
A24 can't get that for people. They can't get them lone actor nominations.
Yeah, I buy your argument.
Is A24 going to push this when they have Everything Everywhere the Whale, and then like perhaps they might throw money behind After Sun, and then what, they're gonna go all the way to this? Like, I don't think so. Yeah. And I do hear he's amazing. Adam Driver.
But what if he's so amazing that maybe he still gets in?
That's not how it works. You have to campaign the actor. And is he gonna? Are critics groups gonna embrace him? Like, I just feel like it's not a high profile enough movie for people. Everything else I don't really think is happening, but there's like Adam Driver and White Noise I don't believe in. Adam Sandler and Hustle, there's been like a little bit of a thing like, oh, Netflix is like screening this movie and they like it, and he's Ben Affleck in The Way Back, and it's like, okay, even so, you admit that he get like a Critics' Choice nomination at best and then get nothing else. That's still, even that is kind of a tough sell.
If he can't get nominated for Uncut Gems, I just don't see him getting nominated for this.
Song Kang-ho for Broker.
People are trying to like call that on Gold Derby. I really just don't think you've seen it. That's all I can say. I just don't think you've seen it.
That's what I've thought the whole year. If you've seen the movie, you know it's not.
I know you like him in Parasite. I understand. I get it, but I just know.
For Best Actress, I wanted to refilm this after we get the Babylon reactions, which we now have. They are pretty mixed. It's hard to tell where the reviews are going to land, but I think she's pretty solidly in there. I was wondering if after these reactions I would think, oh my god, maybe she could win. I'm not really seeing that. Maybe it's not impossible for her to win if she's really giving like the baitiest performance, but if people are mixed on the movie, I don't think they're going to be unanimous on her performance. Blanchett really remains number one. Part of the case for her is that she can win BAFTA. That seems kind of easy. Critics' Choice seems pretty easy. Maybe Globe could go elsewhere. Maybe SAG could go elsewhere. You know, Michelle Yeoh, Daniel Deadwyler, be looking out for them to win something, but Cate Blanchett looks pretty strong.
I do want to make the case for Daniel Deadwyler, because this is who I would vote for. But it's weird to say that the only nominee whose film isn't nominated will win. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't know if that's like ever happened or...
And Daniel Deadwyler, like, this is a real breakout role. Like, I know Harder They Fall was a breakout. This is just, like, breaking into further breakout. The other actresses, Margot Robbie, Cate Blanchett, Michelle Yeoh, voters have known about them for longer. I think Daniel Deadwyler, I would probably vote for her out of all these people, too. Maybe she could win stuff. Like, I don't think it's impossible that she wins. Just from being that fucking good. And doing everything you need to do to win an Oscar in a film. Funny.
It's easy to watch Till and be like, that's winning an Oscar.
Although Michelle Yeoh could win, and there is a case for her winning SAG, I don't really think she's going to win the Oscar at the end of the day. I don't think that was the type of performance that wins the Oscar. Yeah, there's a huge narrative there. The whole body of work that Michelle Yeoh has done over the years, culminating in this film, never having been recognized, being like the first Asian woman to win, would be big.
Very unlike the Best Actor category where it only feels like there's one outcome. This feels like it has 4 outcomes. And then you've got Michelle Williams still hanging on to that 5 slot.
If these other 4 are really locked in as they seem, we know that Best Actress or any acting race doesn't always go as it's supposed to. Therefore, there's a reasonable chance that she could be snubbed, right? If all these other 4 are just stronger and then she's the
Yeah,
fifth.
but I don't see a lot of really strong stuff from like under 5 because we have yet to see Naomi Aki in I Want to Dance with Somebody, but that's the only performance that I could see being like a real threat because Empire of Light, we wrote that off. Like we tossed it in the trash and maybe it's a little early, but
It's in the ocean.
I'm actually not willing to like pull it back out, even for Olivia Colman. I'm just not
No,
willing to. And Viola Davis in Woman King, she's very good in it, but it's not like her best performance. She has a couple really great moments, and just the movie, like what nominations will it get? Maybe 1.
Another Widows situation, perhaps.
Yeah.
Last time we did these predictions and we had Olivia Colman off, it seemed really insane. But now, looking at people's predictions, nobody has Olivia Colman on anymore because they all realize this. And after that top 8, it's Dead Man's Land. But Naomi Aki, though, you got to consider that this is literally an Anthony McCartan written script, and the track record on this motherfucker is crazy. And this is also Cassie Lemon's the director of Harrogate. Cynthia Erivo was nominated for that.
And
Same
she's
release
singing
strategy,
Isn't
too.
she singing in it?
Yeah, because she's Whitney Houston.
Even if the movie's not good, she get nominated.
Yeah, and it's got that, ambush kind of Christmas release. I don't think anybody under Olivia Colman is like a thing at all. Like, is there anybody else who could have this?
I'm gonna say no. I mean, I guess some people still think. Do some people still think Ana de Armas?
Not really, no.
I feel like when Blonde came out, people were like, "Hey, what about this?" And it was like, "Bro, Blonde." It was like pretty much as controversial as we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, Blonde got trashed. Everybody hated it. Zoe Kazan?
Nah.
A lot of things are just nah. Even like, yeah.
Rooney Mara, Women Talking, nah.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Do you get awards when you scream and shout?